let's talk about Disney for a second because it's pretty obvious that the past couple years have been pretty bad for Disney. As much as they tried to pretend like, no, everything's fine, we promise, there's nothing wrong, there's nothing going on. This fight with the state of Florida, it's not affecting us at all. The reality is it's really bad. Their stock had the worst year in nearly half a century last year in 2022. It doesn't look like things are getting any better in 2023. And there's an article that's out right now, specifically making the rounds on a lot of places. I think it originally got written on Bounty, and then Breitbart picked it up, then even Newsmax. But our friend Valiant Renegade made a video talking about what he estimates some of the box office losses were for Disney over the past year, the last 8 movies they released. I think Avatar 2, Way of Water might be excluded from that because the funding came from before it was bought by Disney. But regardless, nearly $1 billion of the box office over the last year, that's a lot. That's a lot of money. A lot of people are looking at that and saying, look at woke Disney and how they're failing. Well, I've got a surprise for you. If you think that that's bad, if you think that $1 billion lost in the box office is bad, let's take a look at streaming numbers. This is the last 4, well, every single quarter when it comes to Disney streaming, but look at the last 4 quarters. This is not the amount of money that Disney's made on streaming. This is the amount of money that they have lost on streaming. Last quarter, they were bragging that they only lost $700 million. And they said, look, we only lost $700 million last quarter. Well, the quarter before that was $1.1 billion. The quarter before that, it was $1.5 billion. And the quarter before that, it was $1 billion. You're looking with Disney Plus and with what Disney's doing in streaming, they have lost $4 billion in the past year. So yeah, those box office losses are really bad. It pales in comparison to the amount that they're failing on streaming right now.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't know how they can sustain this. They are losing in every aspect. And again, some of these losses are going to be highlighted by the fact that other things are losing now. So yeah, when Disney was operating on this massive level with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, when Star Wars was actually profitable, when Pixar was actually respectable, it probably didn't hurt as bad when you're going through things like this. But as we're seeing the decline of Disney Plus even further, and we're seeing the decline of their cinematic films, and we're seeing the parks now struggling with attendance, not in a massive way, but again, even a 5% drop in the parks, that's what it's going to hurt them. They don't have the sustainability to continue in this direction. So everything we've been saying, all of the stuff we've been saying about Disney was 100% correct. They are struggling. That is a fact. No, it doesn't mean that they're ready to go out of business. It doesn't mean that they're about to fall apart per se. They are going to have to make a massive change at their company if they want to stop this bleeding. This is what happens when you pander to woke identity politics. This is what happens every time. There's no sustainability with this method. The weirdos out there that are talking about this stuff do not care about your business. They don't care about supporting. They never have. They never will. This is not who they are. And Disney is finding that out the hard way. And all of the independent content creators out there, shout out to Valiant Renegade for putting this together, have been right on the money with what's going on with Disney. You can ignore it all you want. You can pretend that it's not happening. You can let all of the Little Mermaid articles right now trying to justify that that film is a success. You can believe that bullshit if you want, but it just ain't true. Because as the Little Mermaid has hit, what, $500 million? I'm seeing articles trying to say that that's a success. Have you seen those, Ryan? They're trying to justify it. It ain't a fucking success, and it's why the media is dying. It's why people don't believe the media, don't trust the media. Little Mermaid lost money. It's not official, but it needs to make, what, $700 million to break even, Ryan?
Probably more.
Little Mermaid will lose money. It will be the Solo lost money. It will be the Lightyear lost money. It will be Little Mermaid lost money. And that's playing off of Ant-Man losing money. All of the other Disney films. And then you look at what's going on with Disney Plus, these massive drops. They are in serious trouble. We were right. That's just the reality of the situation.
Yeah, and like this chart right here, the reason we got this announcement a couple weeks ago, and we've got this Hollywood Reporter just article to remind us, this is why this happened. Disney takes $1.5 billion write-down for removing shows off Disney Plus and Hulu. This is why they did this, because they're desperate to try to stop the bleeding when it comes to Disney Plus. For a while, they got by saying, hey, even though we lost $1 billion, we gained 5 million subscribers. We gained this many subscribers to try to pretend like everything's fine. But now they can't do that because last quarter they lost 4 million. Quarter before that, they lost 2.4 million, all while also losing money. So it might look a little different next quarter because they're trying to take this massive, basically, tax credit to make it look like they're not losing as much money. But the reality is that people aren't watching these things, that they're not making money off them. You combine that with the struggles they're having in the theme parks, and yeah, things are not looking good for Disney right now. If Warner Brothers wasn't in maybe the worst financial state you could possibly imagine, people would probably be looking at Disney and they're tens of billions of dollars of debt and saying, I wonder when they're going to be at the same point that Warner Brothers is now.